Hello guys, it's Charles Lambrianou here. I'm doing a podcast with my father, Chris Lambrianou. Some of you may have heard of him, or others may not have. But he's got a story he'd like to share with us. I'd be grateful to hear it. Yeah?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, would you like to start by telling me like your early life?
My early life, I was brought up in a place called Fitzrovia, and it was a place where there were people from every kind of walk of life, Chinese, uh, West Africans, South Africans, Greeks, Italians. It was a mixed culture. And they all worked in the West End restaurants and all that kind of thing. And it was a good life. And my parents were really good people, honest people. And I went to a school called St James's in Spanish Place. And I could walk to school when I was 9-year-old. It was cool. And then when I finished at St James's Spanish Place, I went to St Patrick's, High Square, and that was great. And we lived just under the post office tower. On one side was the Middlesex Hospital, on the other side was Tottenham Court Road. And it was a buzz of activity. Life was very fast. There was so much around us. There was Regent's Park was a walk away. You know, the London Zoo, we could be there in sort of 15 minutes walking. I had a life that was so full, and so everything was great until I came home from school one day, and we lived in an area that had been truly bombed and blitzed, and I came home and all around us was bomb sites, and I came home one day and the roof had caved in on our house. And we had to move out, and they put us in a workhouse, and that was in South London. So I came from somewhere where I was happy and a scholar, doing very well at school, to be taken out of there to South London, a place I didn't know, and then schooled out, and I didn't kind of fit in. And from there we moved to there for about 6 months in the workhouse, which was tough. I mean, my mother was with the two children, youngest children. Me and my brother Lee, we were in a dormitory with maybe 40, 50 other people. People, alcoholics, kind of, whatever. There was no drug addiction then. It was mainly drink and what have you, and poor, poverty-stricken people. And so that's where but these people treated you with respect. You were young kids, they didn't interfere with us, we didn't, never saw none of that. And my dad couldn't stay with us. My dad had to find another accommodation. It was just accommodation for my mum and the children. But my dad used to come up every day and see us, make sure we was all right. And we got moved out of there to a place called the Halfway House in Victoria, and which was one room, but there was a kitchen and there was a bathroom which was shared by other people, and we stayed there for a further 6 months. And then from there, and then I went to another school, and so it was changing schools. I didn't settle down. I just didn't think I belonged, because we were never going to be there permanently. And so from there we moved to the East End, which was a different culture altogether. I mean, when we moved to the East End, everybody, the names there were Jackson, Brown, Clark,
Smith,
all English names. And our name stood out by a Greek name, Lambrianou. So, it didn't bother me when I lived in Fitzrovia, because everybody had names of different nationalities.
Yeah.
But in the East End it was different. We'd just come through basically the sort of like the Second World War, and we were victorious. And of course, like we looked down on people who weren't English,
Yeah.
and the fighting spirit and everything else like that. But people didn't live abroad. They didn't know what the Greeks did. They didn't know what the Italians did. They didn't know what the Jews did, or the Africans did, or the Asians. But everybody had a part in actually winning the wars and Spanish. So, I found it difficult to fit in. And I used to go to school in the East End, and it didn't work out. I didn't feel I belonged. I didn't feel I was learning anything. And gradually, bit by bit, I kind of started absconding. And the next thing you know, you go around, you shoplift, you turn to crime, nicking lead off roofs and all that kind of thing. And I got arrested and I got sent to a place called Toynbee Hall, which is a court in Aldgate, and I was sentenced to approved school, being out of my parents' care.
Yeah.
My parents couldn't monitor me. They sent me to school, and I went, as if I meant to go, but I didn't go. They could not control that. You understand what I'm saying? When I was out of sight, they couldn't do nothing about it. They didn't know what I was doing. And when they found out, they were horrified. And I went in front of the judge, Judge Basil Enriquez, and he said I would spend 3 years in the approved school. I went to the approved school, all kids there, you understand what I'm saying, full of themselves and all the rest of it. And I remember walking in, and it's called St Vincent's, Dartford in Kent. And I walked in, and a brother was taking me, because the Dominican brothers ran the place. And these kids were sitting, "Oh, you?" I said, "Who, me?" And they went, "Yeah, you. Who do you support?" I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, support. Football team." I said, I don't support anything. I don't know, don't interest me. But you've got to support something here, and everybody supports Arsenal. So I said, "Are there any other teams?" "Yeah, the Lily Whites." Well, my mum's name was Lily, and she was a white lady, very clean and honest and decent. Yeah, I said, "I support the Lily Whites." And that's how I came to support Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
And it got me into rows and all the rest of it. But St Vincent's was more about religion. In the morning, you'd get up, you'd kneel by your bed and pray. And then in lunchtime, the bell would go, and you'd stop wherever you were doing and pray. And of an evening, before you went to bed, you'd kneel down in front of the cross, which was in your dormitory with about 30 other kids there, and you'd pray. And it was that kind of place. They'd take you for long walks along the riverbanks and things like that. And the shoes or the sandals you were wearing would cut into your feet, and so rubbing against your feet, they'd make sores and everything else like that.
Yeah.
They didn't care whether something fitted you or anything else, and the food was atrocious. Believe me, it felt like it had been cooked in a toilet sometimes.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I wouldn't eat it. But somebody say, "You're going to leave that?" I say, "Yeah, good. Can I have it?" "Yeah, good." And you do that kind of thing, you understand? And but you're allowed to go home every once a month, and the first Sunday of every month you'll go home.
Yeah.
So you catch a train down to London Bridge, get the bus up to the East End, and spend the day with your family, then go back in the evening, which was nice. And my dad and mum used to come up and visit me, my brothers, and that was cool. But it was a long time getting through it all. What did I learn? I learned nothing. I learned about the crimes that other kids had committed. I learned to fight. I learned to sort of like be on top of situations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I finished that, and I came home, and all I was doing, I was at the University of Crime.
Yeah.
So I left there. I came home, and it wasn't long before I got arrested again, and I was sent to prison. I was sent to Borstal,
Yeah. What was that
to
for?
a place called Hollesley Bay,
Yeah.
and I met some real characters there. Roy Shaw, Lenny Smithers, Baker, Clarkey, all different faces from around the East End and Portobello Road and all down there, Notting Hill, South London. We were all in the same boat. So we became friends. We sit with our mates at our table with a seclusion and all that kind of thing. And things were happening because I can remember a mate of mine, Eddie Cooper, came in. He went, Chris, he said, you've got to listen to this guy singing. He's amazing. I went, no, I said, you can't be sort of like, the singers we've got now. You wait until you hear this guy. Anyway, he came on the radio. I said, this is him. It was Elvis Presley. So you understand, that was the start of Elvis Presley's career. He was an amazing singer. Everywhere was going wild. There were those that hated him. There was those that thought he was the best thing since sliced bread and everything. It was very controversial.
Yeah.
Anyway, from there, I stayed at the Borstal for 3 years. And I can remember going down the gym, and they were all telling me about this kid who really could box. And the kid came up to me, got in my face. He went, come and spar with me. I said, look, I'll just come down here to see what happens down there. I said, I ain't come down to box with anybody. He said, come put your fists up. So he was bouncing away from me, and all of a sudden, I just put my hand out, and he walked right onto it.
Yeah.
Knocked him out.
Bloody hell.
And so everybody, God, he can do all right for himself.
Yeah.
So I got in the boxing club, and I loved it. It was training. It was doing stuff. I learned to drive tractors. I worked with horses. Suffolk punches. Get up in the morning, 5 o'clock, go and feed the horses and things like that.
Yeah.
And so you weren't frightened of these big animals, you understand? And then you come away and go and feed them again in the evening. But in the meantime, you take them out and plough a field, because I had this old kind of plough, and I harnessed the horse up and take it out, and we'd plough the ground and what have you. And then they put me with the tractors, and that was brilliant because that's where I learned to drive.
Yeah.
Go around the fields where the apples and the plums and things like that, and they'd box them up and put them on the tractor trailer, and I'd take them down to the compound where they actually sorted it all out. And so that was great. And I can remember going to the boxing club, and they said to me, we're going to the Suffolk Baths, Ipswich Baths, and you're fighting tonight.
Yeah.
I said, am I? So I go there, and we're watching the boxing, and a pal of mine who I admired greatly because he was a great footballer, he was a great runner, and in rugby player, we were both in the same rugby team. I was a prop, he was a forward. He was just fast.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and this guy got in the ring wearing this dressing gown, and his name was Roy Fry from Colorado, and he was sparring, and this guy Eddie was going to fight him, and he went, I'm going to get in that ring, he said, Chris, he said, he's going to throw a right hander and I'm going down.
Yeah.
I went, Eddie, you can't do that. He said, no, he said, I'm not going to get messed up by a guy for, what am I getting out of it? Anyway, he did that, and he came back, and I thought to myself, Eddie, I admire so many things about you. I said, but that I don't admire, because I tell you, I'm going to get in that ring. It don't matter what happens, I'm going to have a go. So when I get ready for my fight, gloves on and everything, and this guy comes in the ring, and he's got the same dressing gown on, Roy Fry from Colorado. But the other guy wasn't Roy Fry from Colorado. He'd borrowed his dressing gown. I am fighting the real, Roy Fry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get in the ring, and I'm fighting. And I put up a good show, and I get people clapping and all that kind of stuff. And this guy hits me with an almighty sort of right hander, and it traps the air between the glove of my ear.
Yeah.
And I see stars for the first time in my life. I've only ever seen stars once, and that was this time. Just I had to kind of cover up and let him hit me and all the rest of it to get through that period.
Yeah.
Well, I got through it, and I put up a good fight, but I lost. And they invited me to their dressing room, the Americans. They come from a place called the Tigers Lair in Bentwaters. And I went into their dressing room, and they all shook my hand and well done and all the rest of it. Really, really good guys. And they had some food there, we had some food, and then I went back to our dressing room, and I felt a lot of pain in my ear. So when I got back to the Borstal, Holiday Bay, I went and saw a doctor, and the doctor said, "You've got perforated ear. You can't fight anymore."
Yeah.
Well, I'd done that well in my boxing that I was going to fight for the Suffolk Championships and the ABA Championships. That all went out the window. That might have changed the course of my life if that had happened and I was any good.
Yeah.
Or considered to be any good. So from there, the next thing, I finished Borstal, and then I get a detention centre. They've just opened this. I've got into a fight down in Canvey Island with some friends of mine, and we had to crash through a police road barrier. Got arrested, got taken to court, and remanded in custody. And then they went in front of magistrates, and they said, "We're sending you to a detention centre. You need discipline. You need to be able to sort of like deal with the real world, and this will happen." And this was in a place called Kidlington, and it had a strange thing, Kidlington, because it did a complete turnaround over many years that changed my life. It really did, because a place called the Lay Community was there.
Yeah.
Not a mile from where the detention centre was. But the detention centre was run by military people, prison officers that had all been in the army, and sort of tough old boys, you understand. So when you went in, they stripped you naked. They shaved your hair off. So if you were a young teddy boy, it was like I was, they really belittled you.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to run around the gym, and this screw called Seaton would actually kick footballs at your head to just kind of brutalise you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but then we'd be out at 5 o'clock in the morning doing exercises. Then you come in and you get a cold shower. Then you have breakfast. Then you go out to work.
Yeah.
Could be anything. Mostly heavy duty work for me. And so I lived that, came through it all, and I came out and put me in the army. And I went in grade 2 because of my hearing and perforated ear, and it didn't last long. I didn't run away or anything else like that. I served, but I was full of anger, full of distress at being sent for miles and miles away from home, because I was in the Pioneer Corps, and they were based up in Wrexham, in Wales, and that's where they sent me.
Yeah.
So I did everything to get out of there, and it was crazy, really, after a man had been through all that and then put him in the army. Anyway, I came home. I wasn't home that long. I finished up going into prison, because you've got to remember, all the people that I knew that had been in my life for any period of time had all been ex-cons.
Yeah.
Had been people from sort of Borstal, detention centre, prison, everything else, a pro school. So I was going up in the education system. It's the University of Crime.
Yeah.
You understand? And I'd done the full scholarship, as it were. You understand what I'm saying?
So yeah.
So I came out. I went into prison. That was for violence. Me and Charlie Olsen, good mate of mine, and we finished up in Stafford Prison, and we got in all kind of troubles and all that kind of thing, and it kicked off, and I got chucked over to the main prison. So although I was a young prisoner, and I shouldn't have been in the man's prison, I was.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't handle me in the
Bolsters.
in the young offenders part of the prison. Then I came out, and I met more people from crime world and everything, and then finished up getting involved with a little firm who were doing safe blowing. And so I went along. I was a minder more than anything else, and I got involved in that kind of crime. And one day they said to me, "Chris, you fancy it?" I said, "Yeah, I noticed the post office up in Stoke Newington. I'd like to have a go at that." So I said, "Well, look, you take the jelly detonators and we'll meet you there."
Yeah.
So I went up there and nobody turned up. And I thought, I haven't come all this way to do something and then walk away and not do it.
I see. You're fully.
So I'm going to complete it. So I broke into the post office from the back entrance and actually got in there, and I started to put jelly into the keyhole and stuff like that. They put the detonator in and piled mailbags around it. I lit the detonator, it went down so far and cut out, got damp. So I lit it again, backed off into a telephone box, expecting the safe to blow. It didn't blow. I went to it again and it got down to about that.
Yeah.
And so I lit it again, came away, it didn't blow. But then I heard a knock on the window. Now the window was half blocked out, so you couldn't see what transactions and what was going on in the post office. But if you raised yourself up, you could see in. And it was the police. "We know you're in there, come out." So I thought, sod this, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I through the window, climbed up like over this door where these windows were and got out through the window, got into the back part of the post office, climbed out, got on a roof, looked down, and all I saw was police and dogs all around the back place. No way out. I couldn't do the roofs because if I went over the roof, there was bomb sites on the other side of the roof. So, I couldn't, there was nowhere to go. So I've got one option. I go back into the post office.
Yeah.
And I think I can take them by surprise. My only option is going through the front window. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I ran at the window, covered myself up like that, went through the window, because that come crashing down, and I finished up on a pavement that took them totally by surprise. I started to run. And a bus was just pulled up a bus stop, and I jumped on the bus, and this policeman's come up, and him and I are wrestling on the bus. The bus stops, and we both fall off, and we're having a row there, rolling about on the pavement, and all the other police came. I'm nicked.
Yeah.
And I found out his name was PC Trill. And at the time, people loved budgies in them days.
Yeah.
And budgies were like little birds.
Yeah.
And there was an advert going round. Trill makes budgies bounce with health.
Yeah.
And I always thought about this PC Trill. And given the due, I went up and I said, "Look, I was with somebody and I was supposed to be on a lookout for them. They asked me would I wait outside, and I did. I didn't know what they were going to do, and when I was waiting, I saw these police. So I went in the post office to find out what was going on, and they were not there. And I tried to escape, and that's why I crashed through the window. Anyway, they gave me 3 years, and I went down to a place called the Verne in Portland, Dorset, and it was okay smashing rocks up, but then I went to work in a blacksmith shop, but I really wanted to work with electronics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I worked hard and that kind of thing, and I finished up coming out. And I had a girlfriend called Carol who waited 3 years for me, and we got married. I thought, if you can wait for me that long,
Yeah.
you're
the
worth
one,
marrying.
Yeah.
And but I'd met more criminals. Higher up the ladder, they invited me to do different things with them, like waste snatches and different things and different robberies and what have you. And then I met a guy who was a long firm craftsman. He was a man who could start a business up from nothing and make a lot of money. And how I met him, I was in the Birmingham nightclub, and he got in, well, some people started picking on him, and I didn't like it, so I got in on his side, and we stood together, and we became good friends.
Yeah.
And he involved me in his business. And a long firm is, you start a business up, and you get a line of credit, and you keep that line of credit going for a little while, but then you start ordering goods on a larger scale.
Yeah.
And when you've got enough, you sell it all off. You earn a good, nice package of money.
Do you reinvest it?
And then you do a runner.
Yeah.
You pack the business up.
Yeah.
You understand? So yeah, that was the way things were. So life was okay during them days, and I was doing well. I had investments here, I had something there. I was part ownership in a car pitch and a what's the name, a car wash. I had good friends. People would come to me and say, "Chris, we've got a problem, can you sort it out?" And I would sort it out. Obviously, them asking me, you know, it was like paying a wage to somebody they were employing.
Yeah.
To keep trouble away from their doorstep. It'd be nightclubs, but not nightclubs mostly gambling clubs.
Oh, I see, like casinos and stuff.
Yeah, casinos and stuff like that. They weren't on the massive scale. There were small casinos where they played, you know, different poker, blackjack and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? But a lot of it was crooked.
Yeah.
So they always needed somebody around.
Yeah.
To smooth things over. Well, I'd worked in the West End on the door of a clip joint, and it don't get harder than that. You understand what I'm saying? So the fact of it all was that you know, I did okay from that. I also I got some game machines and put them in different pubs and different clubs, so I was earning money on that. So yeah, I was doing pretty well, and everything well until one day I had to meet a guy over some American bonds. He said he had them and he couldn't do nothing with him. Could I help him? And I said the possibility was I could, and I arranged to meet this guy at the Blind Beggar. He didn't turn up, so I went and I caught a bus down. I was going to take a bus home. Simple, because my car was in the garage getting a repair done. I'm standing at the bus stop, and this guy I knew, an ex-military man, decent old boy, no criminal background, no nothing, but a straight up shooter. He came by and he went, "Oh, Chris, what are you doing now?" I said, "My car's in the garage." He said, "Do you want a lift?" So I said, "Yeah." got in the car, he drove me home, and we got talking about this, that and the other. And see you later, Ronnie. I called Ronnie Bender.
Yeah.
I go indoors, I'm sitting there having a cup of coffee with my dad. Knock on the door again, about an hour later. I go to the door, it's Ronnie Bender. I said, Ronnie, I said, what are you doing back? He said, I'm working for the Crays. He said, they want to meet you. I said, well, I really don't want to meet them, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the best reputation.
Oh, yeah.
You knew if they wanted to see you, they wanted something.
Yeah.
And my life was quite happy, quite disciplined, quite
settled down.
Settled down. You understand what I mean? I was doing okay. Anyway, I said, no, if you need a few quid, I'll help you out. I said, but I don't want to be involved.
Yeah.
He said, Chris, he said, Tony's there. So right away, I know if I show disrespect to them, they can take it out on Tony. I'm not going to allow that.
No, yeah.
So I go down there. It's a pub called the Widow's Pub. Everybody thinks they went to the Blind Beggars. They never went to the Blind Beggars hardly. It was the Widows that they really, or that was, their family pub. It was where they met people and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And another couple of pubs that they used were local pubs, which weren't too showy or anything. If you wanted to meet up with them, they'd send you to a pub, and there'd be an old boy there. He'd be drinking, sitting on his own, and you'd be having a drink, and he'd say, "What are you doing here, mate?" And you say, "I'll come and meet some people, but they're not here." And he said, "No, but I am." And he said, "You come to see the Crays?" "Yeah." "Well, that was so-and-so pub." He'd tell you where they were. Anyway, I went down and I met the Crays, sat down, had a chat and one thing and another, and they said, "Chris, we need a favour." I said, "Yeah, what's that?" And I'm thinking to myself, "What is it?"
Yeah.
And they said, "We've opened a club in Birmingham. We understand, like, you're up in Birmingham, and we've opened a club in Leicester, and we wonder whether you'd bring some people over there that, spend money, people who would kind of invest in the club." I said, "Possibly I could do that." And they said Charlie, their brother, was running the club, and they gave me the details and everything else like that. And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it. It's lovely to meet you." And they're very polite, you understand?
Yeah, professional, yeah.
Yeah, very, very...
Easy going.
Like talking to you or talking to anybody. Yeah, with respect they treated me, and I with respect I treated them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went up to Leicester, took some people with me. Nice club, they had it all sorted out nicely, and made them welcome. They played poker on the casino, like you said, blackjack and what have you, and everything went well. Then I took some more people over there, and they took more people over there. So it was a good move on their part.
Yeah.
To have somebody in that kind of area, and they appreciated it. So I'd go down there to London to see my dad, because my mum had died not long before that, and I'd meet up with Tony and we'd go out for a drink, and everything would be fine. So I'd gone down there this week, and Saturday night, and Tony and I had gone out for a drink, and we finished up at the Regency Club. And Jack Mavity joined us. And we're sitting there having a meal, and Reggie Cray came in. sat with us, had a chat, and he said, "Jack, can I have a word?" And the two of them went down the back of the restaurant in the Regency and had a good old chat. There was no arguments, there was no shouting, nothing, and it was peaceful. About half an hour later, Jack came to our table, sat down. He said, "I'm back on the firm." I said, "I didn't even know you was on it."
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? I weren't on their firm, so I'm not, never did I want to be. So we're having a chat. Reggie comes over. "Nice to see you guys. Enjoy your evening." And he went and paid for the meal for four of us. No, sorry, there were six of us. He paid for the meal. "See you later, lads," and gone. And then I thought that was nice of him to do that.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the evening and then went home. I went back to Birmingham, did what I normally do, and I finished up in a club called the Dolls Club. And I'm in the club, I'm sitting there, and a guy called Ray Mills, who I knew quite well, decent old boy he was. And he said, "Chris," he said, "I'm going down to London weekend. Why don't you come down there?" He said, "I've never met Tony, your brother, and you've never met my brother Alan. You know, let's go and make it a day." I said, "I can't. I was down there this week, and I'll go down there next week. I'll go down every 2 weeks." "Oh, Chris, come on, come down. It's only a one-off. You know, come down, we'll have a nice weekend. You'll meet Alan. Be a pleasure to meet Tony," so on and so forth. And it went on all night long. I had a few drinks, and I said, "Yes, worst move I ever made."
Yeah.
I came down to London, saw my dad, because when you lose your mum, my dad had nobody, just us. And you couldn't run out on him, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't matter how far I had to travel. It's like you, Charlie. I used to come and visit you, no matter whatever it took, no matter how much it cost. I wanted to be there for you.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was the same. My dad, I just wanted to be there for him. And so came down, saw my dad and everything else like that, stayed at his house, and got in touch with Tony and said, "Look, Tony, got to meet up." Yeah. I went down and picked Tony up in my car. Then we go over the water, and we meet up with Ray Mills and Brother Ray. We have a drink in a couple of pubs where they were, and then we come back over the water to our side, and we finish up in a place called the Cornwallis, on the edge of Bethnal Green Road and Valence Road, where the Crays live. And we go in there, it's their mum's birthday, or they're celebrating something. Old Charlie Cray was there, Charlie the brother was there, and more or less everybody was there. All the girls that hung around with the Cray firm and everything else were there. "Hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you." And it was quite an enjoyable evening. No anger,
No drama. Yeah.
No drama. So it's time to leave, and Tony said, "Let's go to the Regency Club." The Mills had never been there. Tony, I said, "I don't want to go to the Mills. We was there last week. You know, you've got Saturday night gangsters. Leave it alone. Let's go to West End. Some nice birds down there. Have a drink." And there was a place down there called the Bestseller, and it was a place to be on a Saturday night. And he said, "No, let's go to the Regency first. We can go to the Bestseller later." So I gave in.
Yeah.
Went to the Regency. So whilst there, we're having a drink. The next thing, because the Mills had never been there before. Next thing, Jack Dad comes up. I said, "Are you going to a party?" I said, "What party?" I said, "No, I'm going to West End." He said, "No, there's a party round at Blonde Carroll's house."
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, I'm not really that interested." He said, "No," he said, "Come on," he said, "You'll enjoy it." Anyway, we got out, we can't get in my car because it's blocked in. There's that many cars outside the Regency Club. But his is on a corner. We go round, we get in his car and we drive to Everingham Road. And we go in and there's some people are dancing and what have you, something. There's a number of people there. And Jack comes running in, where's the women, where's the booze and all the rest of it. And the next minute there's a bit of an argument going on. And a shooter comes out and Reggie's pulling the trigger, but it don't work.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a bit of a frightener, you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But it don't resonate with what I saw in the Regency the previous week, you understand what I'm saying? Where there were pals sitting down at a table,
Yeah.
there was no drama.
Sense. Yeah.
And so I thought, I've had quite a bit of drink by now, and I thought I didn't come down here for this. You know, I came for a night out, not to walk into this. So I want to leave, and Ronnie Craig comes and says, what's the matter with Chris? And Connie Whitehead said, he didn't come down here for this, you know, and he wants to leave. He said that Connie Whitehead take him home.
Yeah.
So got in the car with Connie Whitehead, drops me off outside my house, but he says to me, Chris, whatever you do, don't go back. So go indoors, I have a cup of coffee, and I'm sobering up.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I've got to go and get my car, because I'm going back to Birmingham tomorrow morning. Number two, I've got to make sure that Tony's all right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get in my car. I'll do more than that, I'll get a shooter. I'll get in my car. I'll get a shooter. I'll get in a taxi and I'll go to the Regency. There was maybe 1 o'clock in the morning now. There's lots of cars are left, so my car's quite easily gettable. I'll get in my car, drive round to Everingham Road, jump out of the car, go to the front door, knock on the door, and Ronnie Bender comes up, opens the door. I said, Ronnie, I said, Tony there? He went, no, he said, they've all gone. So I went to turn away, he said, don't leave me. Don't leave you, you're an ex-military man. SAS, all the rest of it. I said, what do you mean, Ron? He said, they've killed him. I said, killed who? He said, they killed Jack. I went, no, not in front of all them people. You don't do that.
Yeah. Silly move, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's out of control.
Yeah.
You can't get away with it in front of all them people. Too many people can talk. And I said, Ronnie, no, not interested. He went, it can't be happening. He said, Chris, it is. They've killed him. And he said, help me. I said, where are they? He said, they've run away. They'd run away and left him there all on his own. So I said to him, what are your instructions? He said, they told me to take the body, throw it over a railway bridge, which is about 100 yards up the road, and a train will mash it up, so that way there will be no
evidence. Yeah.
No evidence, of him being stabbed to death. So I said, what happened? He said, Ronnie Hart brought a knife in from the kitchen and put it in Reggie's hands. I weren't there, so I don't know.
What happened,
but Ronnie Bender's telling me. He said, don't leave. I can't leave him, you understand what I'm saying? He's a decent man. He's not a criminal. He's got no criminal convictions. He got a job for them with them as a driver, and finishes up with a dead body
That he's got to sort out, yeah.
on his hands. He's got to sort out on his own.
Yeah.
Everybody's run away. Anyway, I go in, and I go downstairs, and there's Jack laying there in front of the fire. And I think he's not dead. He's gonna wake up.
You just couldn't believe it.
He's gonna be okay. And that's the way he looked. He looked like he was asleep. And then it hit me that he was dead. So we had to do something. We couldn't leave it because there's a woman called Blonde Carol, and it's her flat.
Yeah.
That they've taken over for whatever reason. Was it a planned thing? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was all spur of the moment. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what happened then was I went into the kitchen, and there was a basket of washing clothes that had been washed, and I took 2 pairs of socks, and I gave Ronnie Bender a pair, me a pair, so our fingerprints wouldn't be everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we cleaned the place up as best we could, and then there was a knock on the door. It was Tony. He knew I'd come and look for him.
Yeah.
So I opened the door, it's Tony. He said, "Come on, we're going home." I said, "I can't leave Ronnie Bender, he's here on his own." He said, "Where are the others?" I said, "They're all
Scarpered, yeah.
all pissed off."
Yeah.
Left him to sort things out. So he came and got himself involved. So now that's 3 of us involved. You understand what I'm saying? And we wrapped the body. I went upstairs into the bedroom, and I got an eider down off the bed, and I look in the corner, in a cot and a small bed, is 2 children. Who was looking after them?
No one, yeah.
The craze.
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying? But then nobody's there.
Yeah. So there's
Could you
bandage,
imagine? Could you imagine Carol coming home, finding a dead body downstairs and her 2 children upstairs with nobody looking after them?
Yeah.
Anyway, what happened then was Carol came back. I'm taking a bucket upstairs where we wash things down, and it's full of blood. Whereabouts I've clothed it down, squeezed it in the water, gone and wiped down again, squeezed it in the water, just tidying up in general. And I said to Carol, "Listen," when her boyfriend got in the bedroom and don't come out, there's been a bit of an altercation, it's all sorted out, nothing to worry about, just stay in there, and I'll tell you when you can come out. Anyway, go back downstairs, and we wrap the body in the eider down and carry it upstairs into the hallway. Now in the hallway, it's facing kind of a quite busy road, but facing us down a side street is a bagel shop where all the taxis pull up through the night to get a snack. And it got very busy. So we had to wait for a break in the traffic. And the break came, and we got Jack out to the car, his car. We looked at putting him in the boot, but you can't put a 6-foot man in the boot.
No, yeah.
So we put him on the back seat. Then there's an argument between Tony, myself and Ronnie Bender as to who's going to drive it. I want Ronnie Bender to drive it, but he's not going to drive it, so I'm not doing it, Chris. I am not driving that car.
You didn't want his name. He didn't want his name tied down to the car. Yeah.
Pardon?
He didn't want his name tied down
No,
to the car.
no. And the fact was that if he gets stopped,
Yeah. He looks guilty. Yeah.
yeah. No, this is a man with 3 children, a decent human being, been in the army, regular soldier.
Yeah.
Imagine being in that position.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, what happened then was, give Tony his due, he said, I'll drive it. I wasn't going to drive it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gets in the car, I knock on the door, tell Carol she can come out, and we sorted things out. I get in my car and I follow Tony. We're going along Mare Street, and when we get down to Mare Street, a police car falls in behind Tony. I can't let him take him. He's in the position Ronnie Bender was in, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't got open hell, he's got a dead body in the car. What does it look like? He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
That's it. Yeah.
You understand? He didn't do nothing. He didn't kill somebody. The perpetrators have run away, left other people to take it all on
Yeah.
their
It's cleaned up
shoulders.
the mess. Yeah.
Anyway, Tony kept driving, kept his cool, and thank God the police car turned off, because that could have been a further incident
Yeah.
where a gun would have been used
To get away. Yeah.
to get away. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You had no other choice.
No choice,
Yeah.
but more innocent people
Getting killed. Yeah.
they wouldn't have got killed, but they'd have been injured.
Injured. Yeah.
You understand? So look at the mess of it all.
All the trauma as well. Yeah.
Like Ronnie Bender's involved, Tony's involved, I'm involved. None of us have killed anybody. You
No,
understand
exactly,
what I mean? Where are the perpetrators taking care of their business? You understand what I mean? These are supposed to be like the biggest criminals in England. They're supposed to be masterminds.
Yeah.
All you had was like 2 mad dogs. And what do you do with mad dogs? Tell me.
You have to put them down. Yeah.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. So we go over and we go down, and I always get mixed up between the Blackwall Tunnel and Rotherhithe Tunnel, and because I'm not thinking about what tunnel it is, we just went through the tunnel. So, and I think it was the Rotherhithe. I thought it was the Blackwall, but I think it was the Rotherhithe. Now, what we've done, and I suggested, was get it off of our manor, get it out of the East End, take it over to South London. It won't fall on the Richardsons because it's, they're all gone away.
Yeah.
You understand? So he's had an argument with somebody over in South London. Something's happened there. So what happens in South London stays in South London. What I don't realise, and I only learn after, is after the car broke down through lack of petrol, Tony stopped outside a church.
Yeah.
And there was confetti on the floor, so there'd been a wedding there that day. So the church was in regular use. Having left it out there, people would come out of the church in the morning, look in the car, they couldn't miss it, and there was a body in there. They called the police, and
That's it. Yeah.
investigation in South London, not East London. What we didn't know was I didn't know Freddie Foreman. Never met the man.
Yeah.
I don't think Ronnie Bender had. I don't know if Tony had.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, we dropped it on his manor. He was a man, could have been put down to him, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially
We didn't know. They had given no proper instructions, They didn't do anything properly. They just, we've done what we've done.
Clear it up, yeah.
Clear it up, you understand? To one man.
Yeah.
If we don't come along and help him,
He'd be screwed, yeah.
he'd be screwed, yeah. And what must have been going through his mind, I don't know. And knowing the man as I knew him, it would have been his 3 children.
Yeah.
His 3 boys and his wife, Buddy. So at the end of the day, he's been dropped bang in the shit.
Yeah, sure.
And so anyway, we leave it there and away we come. I'll get in touch with the Mills brothers, say, keep it calm, keep it quiet, forget this ever happened, because the twins they're clever people, they've got it all under control. And they listened. And then I got in touch with some other people, told them the same. I come from a school where you don't point the finger at anybody. You understand what I'm saying?
No grassing, yeah.
And you keep calm. Whatever you do, keep calm. Don't blow yourself away. So then Tony and I have a talk, and he's saying nothing, I'm saying nothing. And it'll all blow over. What I didn't know was Ronnie Bender got in touch with Charlie Cray and told him what happened, told him where the body was. Charlie wants to help Freddie Foreman because he has nothing to do with him, man's totally innocent. And so them 2 guys are involved again. So can you understand how the ripples in the stream are going out and out and out and drawing more in? You understand what I'm saying? And so, but I don't know what's happening. Do you understand? My part is done. So I go back to Birmingham, get on with my life. I come down, I see them, everything's okay. But they were arguing amongst themselves an awful lot. I can remember one time we was at a party and them 2 have a fight, Reggie and Ronnie. And Charlie jumps in to stop and gets in the middle because nobody else does.
Yeah.
And they start on him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's how kind of unstable everything was.